I am just going to go out on a limb here and say that we are live, and if we're not, we are recording. So, hello and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information come from the smart device application Today in History, What Happened Today in History,
historical calendar,
and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music, and anything else we gather throughout the show, check the description. Anyway, I am Mayo Xander.
Long.
And today is Wednesday, aka Wednesday, March 30th, 2022. Why don't you start us off today, good sir?
Yes. 598. Falcon campaign in the Avars left the siege at the Byzantine stronghold of Thomas. Their leader, Bayan I, retreats north of the Danube River after the Slavic hordes are decimated by the plague. Ooh, that's horrible.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. So there's a war going on, and then they got hit by the plague. So, actually, that reminds me, wasn't the Spanish flu going on around World War I as well?
Yeah.
About the same time, yeah. Anyway, jumping on up over twice as many years, in 1282, the people of Sicily rebelled against the Angevin King Charles I in what became known as the Sicilian Vespers.
Damn. Let's see what else. Oh, my phone cut off.
Ah.
There we go. Easy fix. And in 1296, Edward I sacked Berwick upon Tweed during armed conflict between Scotland and England.
That's an interesting name, Berwick upon Tweed. Huh. Jumping up into 1699, Guru Gobind Singh established the Khalsa in Anandpur Sahib, Punjab. Alright.
Interesting.
What happened in 1815?
1815, shockingly, at the Remy Proclamation, which would later inspire the Italian unification.
Nice. 3 years after that, in 1818, physicist Augustin Fresnel read a memoir on optical rotation to the French Academy of Sciences, reporting that when polarized light is depolarized by a Fresnel rhomb, its properties are preserved in any subsequent passage through an optically rotating crystal or liquid. Huh.
Okay.
This is above me. I don't understand what I just read.
I know. Tell me about it.
What the hell is a Fresnel rhomb? Let me look at that up real quick. Fresnel rhomb is an optical prism that introduces a 90-degree phase difference between two perpendicular components of polarization by means of two total internal reflections. Okay, well, with time I can probably understand that, but...
In 1882, the Florida Territory is created in the United States.
Oh boy. And thus began Florida Man. Oh, Florida Man, you silly bastard. 1841, the National Bank of Greece was founded in Athens. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not cool. I don't like banks. Anyway.
Also, 1842, ether anesthesia is used for the first time in a operation by the American surgeon Dr. Crawford Long.
Nice. What is ether anesthesia, whatever?
Ether, they use ether on people.
Yeah, before its development as a surgical anesthetic, ether was used throughout the history of medicine, including as a treatment for ailments such as scurvy or pulmonary inflammation. A pleasant-smelling, colorless, and highly flammable liquid, ether can be vaporized into a gas that numbs pain but leaves patients conscious. Okay.
Yeah.
2 years after that, in 1844, one of the most important battles of the Dominican War of Independence from Haiti took place near the city of Santiago de los Caballeros.
Caballeros.
Yeah.
Okay. 1855, origins of the American Civil War. Border ruffians from Missouri invade Kansas and force election of a pro-slavery legislative.
Well, that's not nice.
No, it's not.
Yeah, like, everybody has rights, even if you disagree with them, let them figure things out for themselves.
Bingo.
1 year later, in 1856, the Treaty of Paris was signed, ending the Crimean War. How many Treaty of Parises were there? There's like quite a few.
Yes, there is.
Okay, let me look it up. How many Treaty of Paris were there? Well, there's this. The 3 Treaties of Paris. There's a Treaty of Paris in 1802, 1806, 1810, another in 1810. And then there's more. Oh my god! Holy crap, dude, there's like 47 Treaties of Paris. What the... I have to put this in the underbar. This is ridiculous. What happened in 1861?
In 18...
You there?
In 1861, discovery of the chemical element. Sir William Crookes announced the discovery of thallium.
Huh. What is thallium? Thallium is a chemical element with the symbol of Ti and atomic number 81. It is a gray post-transition metal that is not found free in nature. When isolated, thallium resembles tin, but discolors when exposed to air. Interesting. I'm going to add the wiki for thallium on the description as well. But before I do, I'm going to take us up into 1863, in which Danish Prince William Jorg is chosen as King George of Greece. Is it Jorg or George? I'm just going to make it George. Alright, remove the E. Thallium. What happened in 1867?
1867, Alaska is purchased from Russia for $7.2 million, about 2 cents per acre, for 19 km by United States Secretary of State William H. Stewart.
Man, yeah, I bet they hated that after they found out about all the oil there. So, but yeah, so alright, Alaska was bought. Nice. Jumping up into 1870, Texas was readmitted to the United States Congress following Reconstruction, because they were part of the Confederacy. In 1885, the Battle for Kushka triggered the Panjshir incident, which nearly gave rise to war between the Russian and British empires. Ooh.
Very good.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm here.
Alright. 1899.
1899, German Society of Chemistry issues an invitation to other national scientific organizations to appoint delegates to the International Committee on Atomic Weight.
Interesting. Like, Germany's done a lot for science, both good and bad. It's pretty insane. Albert Einstein. Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
In 1912, the Sultan Abd al-Hafid signed the Treaty of Fez, making Morocco a French protectorate.
Hold up. I gotta go do something. I'll be back.
Alright, I will take control of the show. In 1918, outbursts of bloody march events in Baku and other locations of Baku Governorate. Okay. In 1939, the Heinkel HE-100 fighter set a world airspeed record of 463 miles per hour, or 745 kilometers per hour. That's pretty fast. It's really fast for back then. Jeez. 1 year later, in 1940, during the Second Sino-Japanese War, Japan declares Nanking capital of a new Chinese puppet government nominally controlled by Wang Jingwei. 4 years after that, during World War II, Allied bombers conducted their most severe bombing run on Sofia, Bulgaria. Also in 1944, out of 795 Lancasters, Halifaxes, and Mosquitoes sent to attack Nuremberg, 95 bombers did not return, making it the largest RAF bomber command loss of the war. And keep in mind, each one of those bombers had like a crew of 10 to 15, 12 probably. They had a pilot, co-pilot, bombardier, and then like half a dozen gunners. Multiply that by 95. So that's just awful. 365 days later, in 1945, also during World War II, Soviet forces invaded Austria and captured Vienna. Polish and Soviet forces liberate Danzig. 4 years later, in 1949, during the Cold War, because we just can't have enough wars, can we? A riot broke out in Ostervolia Square in Reykjavik when Iceland joined NATO. 1 decade after that, in 1959, Tenzin Gyatso, the 14th Dalai Lama, fled Tibet for India. Yeah, right. Yeah. China, always being China. 2 years later, in 1961, the Single Convention on Narcotic Drugs is signed in New York City. And what is a Single Convention on Narcotic Drugs? Just another way for Big Pharma to capitalize off things. It is an international treaty that controls activities of specific narcotic drugs and established the system of regulations for their medicinal and scientific use, or medical. I'm going to add this into the underbar real quick. Added. Alright.
Okay, I'm back.
Well, welcome back. You can take 65 here.
1965, Vietnam War. Car bomb explodes in front of the United States Embassy, Saigon, killing 22 and wounding 183 others.
Jeez. 2 years after that, 1967, Delta Airlines Flight 9877 crashed at Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport, causing the deaths of 19. That is really unfortunate.
Yeah. Also, 1972, Vietnam, the Eastern offensive begins after North Vietnamese forces cross into the militarized zone, DMZ, or DMZ of South Vietnam.
1976, Israeli-Palestinian Conflict. In the first organized response against Israeli policies by a Palestinian collective since 1948, Palestinians create the first land day. Both Israel and Palestine are there. Palestine is not doing anything but shrinking. Clearly, it's evident right there who the aggressor is. Stop hiding behind the Holocaust. Israel, come on, grow up.
Also, in 1979, Avery Navy, a British member of Parliament, is killed by a car bomb as he exits the Palace of Westminster. The Irish National Liberation Army claims responsibility.
Murder is never the answer, I am all for a free Ireland, but not if that costs human lives. If people just sit down and talk, it's not that difficult. Jumping up into 1981, U.S. President Ronald Reagan was shot in the chest outside Washington, D.C. hotel by John Hinckley Jr. 3 others were wounded in the same incident. Yeah, I remember about this. He was almost assassinated.
For Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
Weird. Hold on, I gotta use the bathroom.
Alright. 1982, during the space shuttle program, STS-3 mission was completed with the landing of Columbia at White Sands Missile Range, New Mexico. Yeah, cool. Jumping on up a little bit into the next millennium, the 2002 Leon car attack took place. And then 6 years after that, in 2008, Jerome Kia was arrested by Chinese authorities. 1 year later, in 2009, 12 gunmen attacked the Manwan Police Academy in Lahore, Pakistan. 2017, SpaceX conducted the world's first reflight of an orbital-class rocket. And in 2019, Pope Francis visited Morocco. Now,
Nice.
Oh, yeah. All right. Welcome back. Are you back? Okay. Any articles tickle your fancy today?
Texas being readmitted into the United States Congress.
That is intriguing.
And the discovery of the chemical elements.
I was going to say, because I had forgotten, but the assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan is also pretty interesting, on top of yours as well, of course.
Yeah, all for Jodie Foster.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I saw something about that in American Dad. They had a whole Christmas episode with that. Anyway, going on in a burst, why don't you start us off?
Yes. 892 Xi Jinping, founder of the later Jin Dynasty.
1632, we have John Proctor, a farmer, hanged for witchcraft in the Salem witch trials.
Yeah.
Hey.
1853, Vincent van Gogh, Dutch-French painter and illustrator.
Van Gogh, yep. 1874, Charles Lightroller, the English second officer on the RMS Titanic.
Damn. Also, 1894, Sergei Ilyushin, Russian engineer who founded Ilyushin Aircraft Company.
1 year later, in 1895, Karl Lutz was born on the States. He was a Swiss vice consul to Hungary during World War II, who is credited with saving over 62,000 Jews.
Nice. Also, in 1907, Friedrich August Fernheyer von der Heide, German general.
That's a muffin name if there ever was one. 1919, Robin Williams, New Zealand mathematician, university administrator, and public servant. I had no idea he did that, as well as being an amazing actor. No wonder they took him out.
1926, Ivar Kamprad, Swiss businessman who founded IKEA.
Yeah. Some say he was born missing parts. 1934, Paul Crouch, a U.S. broadcaster who co-founded the Trinity Broadcasting Network.
That's a Christian network.
Christian network?
Yes, a Christian network.
Ah.
Also, 1934, Hans Hollein, the Austrian architect and academic who has designed Haas House.
I gotta check this out. Haas House. Oh, that looks pretty cool. That's an interesting house. Let's see here. In 1937, we have Weirin Betty, a U.S. actor, director, producer, and screenwriter.
Yes. Also, in 1938, Klaus Schwab, German economist and engineer who founded the World Economic Forum.
Yep, now they're German. 3 years later, 1941, Bob Smith, the most generic name I've seen in quite a while. He was a U.S. soldier and politician. Wasn't Bob Smith the name of the guy from East vs. West? The Key and Peele skit?
I think so. Also, 1948, Eddie Jordan, Irish race driver and team owner who founded Jordan Grand Prix.
And then 1962, stop! Hammer time! MC Hammer, U.S. rapper and actor. I was very white in doing that. I should be shot. That was shameful. I apologize.
Yeah. Also, 1968, Celine Dion, Canadian singer and songwriter. Yeah, only song you remember by the fucking Titanic movie.
Yeah. Near, far, wherever you are. So. Jumping on into deaths in 116, we have Quirinius of Neus, a Roman martyr and saint.
Also, in 365, Jin, Emperor of the Jin Dynasty.
You know, I still want to know how to pronounce that name. Is like I or like ah, you know. Like 943, we have Li Bian, Emperor of Southern Tang, and I'm not surprised that the South has a Cajun, orange beverage. You know, Southern Tang.
Also, 1662, Francois Le Matthieu de Bourg-sur-Berth, French poet and playwright.
Making a huge time jump here, in 1981 we have Dewitt Wallace, died on this date. He was a U.S. publisher who co-founded Reader's Digest.
Cool.
Yeah.
Also, 1986, John Cardai, U.S. poet and playwright. U.S. poet and entomologist.
Yeah, and an entomologist is someone who studies the origin of history in words, or the history of words. So as an example, he was known as an entomologist as well for his poetry, the task of blah, blah, blah. Okay, so somebody who studies the history of words. Interesting. 1995, Paul A. Rothschild, a U.S. record producer. And I don't know if he has anything to do with the Rothschilds, but you share a really unfortunate last name if you're not one of them. So.
Also, 2002, Queen Elizabeth, Queen Mother of the United Kingdom. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, the current Elizabeth is Elizabeth II. So.
Yeah.
2005. This is a really, really sad one. Mitch Hedberg, U.S. stand-up comedy god. I suggest you look up his stuff. He was really good. He was having a lot of social problems. Like even on stage, he's always staring down. But he still got out there, got in front of that crowd, and performed. And that took balls. So,
yeah.
Rest in peace, Mitch Hedberg.
Also, 2010, Martin Sandberger, German SS officer.
Yeah, that seems a little late for somebody who was in the SS to die. You know, you think that they would all have been hunted down and exterminated. But anyway, in 2012, Granville Semmes, a U.S. businessman who founded 1-800-Flowers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also, 2013, Philip Ramone, African U.S. songwriter and producer who co-founded A&R Recording.
Nice. 2 years after that, Roger Sliffer died on the States, a U.S. author, illustrator, screenwriter, and producer.
And 2021, G. Gordon Liddy, chief operative in the Watergate scandal.
Yeah. And that is it for the show. Once again, don't forget to look. I just all screwed up. Check the underbar for any links that you may be interested in, which also includes
So TV on Twitch.
And everything Omni Coalition. For your dose of passive events daily, we stream every day between 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific time, which is also
3 to 5 Central.
I thought it was 2 to 5.
Oh, 2 to 5.
You're 2 hours ahead, or oh yeah, you're 2 hours ahead. Yeah. Well, anyway, for all of you and all of us, I'm Xander.
I'm Lunk.
And until you see us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles.
Yeah.